Secretary, another issue lang po. No? Plano po ng TUCP na maghain ng panibagong wage increase petition po. Ang tanong po ay kaya po ba ng gobyerno natin na mapagbigyan ito even yung kanilang hinihinging cash assistance or ayuda po ulit? Like yung camp before, sabi nila ngayon tatawagin lang Pbbm, ayuda para sa mga manggagawang Pilipino or BAMP.
The approved new list of infrastructure flagship projects includes a total of 194 projects amounting to about 9 trillion.
Pinulong ng Pangulong Ferdinand Marcos Jr. ang NEDA Board para pag-usapan ang guidelines sa implementation at listahan ng mga proyekto na kabilang sa infrastructure priority projects ng administrasyon. Ito ay upang siguruhin na aligned ito sa mga layunin ng Philippine Development Plan 2028. Kasama rin sa pinag-usapan ang mga rekomendasyon ng NEDA Board para sa pag-amyenda ng 2013 Joint Venture or JV Guidelines. At para ipaliwanag ang mga ito, kasama natin ngayon si NEDA Director General at Socio-Economic and Planning Secretary Arsenio Balisacan. Secretary Balisacan?
I am pleased to announce that the National Economic and Development Authority Board, chaired by President Ferdinand Romualdez Marcos Jr., during its fourth meeting today, approved two game-changing initiatives that aim to further raise investments and transform the Philippine economic landscape. These are the government's new list of infrastructure flagship projects, or IFPs, and the amendments to the 2013 NEDA Joint Venture, or JV Guidelines. The approved new list of infrastructure flagship projects includes a total of 194 projects amounting to about 9 trillion pesos. Majority of these infrastructure flagship projects are in physical connectivity and water resources, which include projects in irrigation, water supply, and flood management. The list also includes projects in digital connectivity, health, power and energy, agriculture, and other infrastructure. Some of the new projects included in the new list are the Panay Railway Project, Mindanao Railway Project 3, North Long Haul Railway, San Mateo Railway, UPPGH Diliman Project, the Ninoy Aquino International Airport Rehabilitation Project, Ilocosur Transbasin Project, and the Metro Cebu Expressway. Aligned with the priorities under the 8-point socio-economic agenda of President Marcos' administration and the plans outlined in the Philippine Development Plan for 2023 to 2028, these high-impact and urgently needed infrastructure projects aim to showcase the government's Build Better More program. The new IFPs are seen to address the binding constraints to business investment and expansion that will create more high-quality and resilient jobs that will allow us to meet our poverty reduction goals for the medium term. IFPs shall be prioritized under the government's annual budget preparation and enjoy the benefits of expedited issuance of applicable permits and licenses consistent with current legal frameworks. These projects will adopt an optimal mix of financing from various development partners, that is ODA, the national government, that is general appropriations, and the private sector, particularly public-private partnerships. To hasten the rollout of these projects, the Marcos administration is strongly promoting the utilization of public-private partnerships, or PPPs, one of the cross-cutting strategies likewise identified in the Philippine Development Plan 2023 to 2028. The Marcos administration's trust for infrastructure shall enable the transformation of the Philippine economic landscape within the next 6 years. Recognizing that our country has much work to do to catch up with our dynamic neighbors in the region, we will pursue high-impact initiatives that aim to encourage greater local and foreign investment and private sector participation in infrastructure development. Today's approval of the new IFP list and the amendments to the NEDA JV guidelines is a giant step toward our goal of elevating our competitiveness as we promote the Philippines as a prime investment destination in the region. We will connect and integrate markets to enable access to more opportunities for local industries, enhance the productivity of our young and vibrant labor force, and create safer infrastructure for future generations. Ultimately, we wish to improve the overall quality of life for all Filipinos and empower every citizen to live a matatag, maginhawa at panatag na buhay. Thank you.
Okay, Maricel Halili, TV5.
Hi sir, magandang umaga po. Sir, following the approval of the new IFP list, how will this help the unemployment situation in the country?
There will be construction activities, massive construction activities, and that will improve the investment climate in the country so that more investors can come in, both domestic and foreign, and the current investors can expand their operations. Those will create jobs. So the whole purpose of putting this in place and to roll them as fast as we can is to generate employment opportunities so that we can also achieve our poverty reduction goal at, reduce it to single-digit level by 2028.
Sir, do we have a rough estimate as to how many Filipinos will benefit from this in terms of employment? Gaano karami po yung pwedeng mabigyan ng trabaho?
We don't have specific numbers here, but as we all know, when you have major infrastructure projects that will generate employment, but more importantly, those will generate job opportunities because, as I said, that will reduce the cost of doing business in the country, that will make our investment climate more attractive because then this so-called infrastructure deficits that we have and the gaps between us and our neighbors in terms of the quality and cost of our infrastructure services will be reduced, no? And that improves our attractiveness as an investment destination.
Chona Yu of Inquirer Radio.
Sir, good morning. Out of 194 projects approved by the NEDA, how many projects are under the Marcos administration and what are these projects po?
There are 123 of those 194 projects that are new. They were initiated and began to be funded during this administration. Some of the examples that I provided earlier, like the Naya rehabilitation, the North Long Haul Railway that should bring the railway from Manila all the way to the Ilocos region, all the way to the Cagayan Valley, and as well as that the Metro Cebu Rail expressway that I mentioned earlier. So these are just a few of the examples that we have. There are 123 in the list, and we will be posting this list. If not today, you'll get it by tomorrow. We're just cleaning them up.
Sir, just a follow-up on that. Out of the 123 projects, ilan doon ang matatapos under bago or matapos yung kanyang administration?
We don't have the count yet, but the whole intention is to complete many of them as much as possible. But these are long-term projects, like the North Long Railway that I mentioned. That will involve several years of development, just like what we have with the subway. The subway, was started by the Duterte administration, right? And as we see it now, maybe we completed that in 2027, 2028, no? So that's how, and that's only Metro Manila. How much more to, bring the railway services all the way to the Cagayan Valley.
Okay, Ace Romero, Philippine Star.
So, Secretary, doon sa projects, there are 194 of them. I understand masyadong madami. Can you just give us at least yung five biggest projects na nandun sa priority list and how much?
The priority list, again, includes the ongoing ones because you have heard the President early on saying that those projects that were initiated began in the previous administration, to the extent that they are useful for the economy, for our society, must be continued. And so many of these projects remain flagship projects, okay? And the big ones there are under the previous administrations, the subway. Is going to cost a lot of still money. The other one is although initiated much earlier on, this Clark commuter railway, Clark to Manila, and then all the way to Los Baños. So those are big ones too. We'll be pushing as well the railway all the way to the Bicol region. I don't have the amount here with me, but you can see that eventually in our website. We'll be posting the approved list eventually.
So, of those projects, ilan po yung kayang matapos next year, yung mas mabilis matapos? Kasi people will be asking when can we feel
in the
the
next couple of
benefits?
years, you should be seeing many of this already in operational. For example, irrigation projects. Many of these are irrigation projects. Health projects. We are including the cancer center that we approved last time. That's now going, and we hope to have that in the next 3-4 years. What included here also is another Philippine General Hospital in UP Diliman. Those can move pretty quickly because those are PPP, private partnership projects, and this will not involve much right-of-way acquisition, so they can be quite quick. Where we may be encountering a bit of difficulty will be those areas where we have to acquire right-of-way. But even then, part of the approval of the decision by the and the directive of the President this morning was to ask ARTA to issue or to ensure that the agencies who are involved with issuance of permits, licenses, and that they have to give priority to these IFPs, because in the past these have been some of the bottlenecks. Agencies are so slow in issuing the required permits and licenses. So we are undoing many of those problems there.
Eden Santos, Net 25.
Hi. Secretary, good morning po. You said that these infra projects will give quality jobs to Filipinos. What kind of quality jobs are you referring to? And before kasi po may mga incident na yung mga contractor partners are bringing their nationals to work dun sa mga infra projects.
When we say quality jobs, we mean jobs that could provide you decent wages and not just unemployment of 1 hour or 2 hours a day. In our statistics, if you are employed for 1 hour a day, employed ka na, no? And so we are looking at jobs that where wages can really be at a level that make households. Individuals keep afford a decent living, adequate enough to send their children to school, to afford basic services. So, in a sense, what that means is we must be able to generate jobs And the only way you can generate jobs that are of high quality is when you get investments. And as I said earlier, one of the constraints faced by our investors or faced by the country in attracting investment is the quality of our infrastructure, the poor quality of our infrastructure and the services, the high cost of doing business in the country. So this infrastructure program is meant to address that infrastructure deficits that we have in this country, so that investors can see us as a viable destination for their investment. That way, jobs, opportunities can improve. So if plants, if their investors come in to set up their factories, there will be more, better quality jobs. Better because when you're employed there, it's 8 hours a day. You get it's not 1 hour a day, and you get all the benefits. Those are the kind of jobs that we want, not the jobs that you get. Incidentally, when you're peddling cigarette in the street, that's a job, but that's not the kind of job that we would want our children to have.
Secretary, another issue lang po. Plano po ng TUCP na maghain ng panibagong wage increase petition po. Ang tanong po ay kaya po ba ng gobyerno natin na mapagbigyan ito, even yung kanilang hinihinging cash assistance or ayuda po ulit? Like yung camp before, sabi nila ngayon tatawagin lang Pbbm, ayuda para sa mga manggagawang Pilipino or BAMP.
Ang trust natin as much as possible is to generate jobs, opportunities that will last long, sustainable, and so that our workers can earn sufficient, can have wages that can comfortably support their needs. We are aware that there are petitions for minimum wages, and there are rules under the law that need to be factored in, determined. There are factors that need to be considered in the approval of such petitions. I don't want to preempt that, but certainly one of those conditions that I read in the law is that the decision must take into account the impact of that and the economy and local economies in particular, to make sure that you don't create unnecessary disincentives for again investors to come in here, or to investors to expand, because you make you price yourself too high relative to your productivity. I maintain that and that's the very purpose of this infrastructure program, is it helps our workers realize higher productivity when you get this kind of infrastructure support and investment, and that's what is required to get wages rise on a sustained basis.
Dan Osorio, Global Daily Mirror.
Good afternoon, sir. In view of NADA's discouragement in raising minimum wages and with the now proposed number of long-term projects, what is the earliest possible prediction of the economic state being in equilibrium from inflation following the suggested increase in labor and employment demand?
What is the long-term? What's the equilibrium? Yeah. As of now, this morning you must have seen the new employment data, no? And what you have seen in the employment data is unemployment decrease further, no? And the quality of that job, as indicated in the underemployment data, is improving, no? Now, of course, while that is happening, you still have the inflation concern, no? And it's still a challenge for us to address the inflation, and we must. I mean, realistically, the inflation issue is is something that cannot be handled very quickly. And I said very quickly, not tomorrow, not but we are certainly putting in place measures that will address that will arrest those upticks in prices, and in the meantime also provide assistance to those who are most vulnerable, in our society, particularly in our with respect to food prices.
Okay, thank you. And really, the last one, Joyce Balancho, ABS-CBN.
Hi, sir. Just to follow up lang doon sa 123 new projects under the Marcos admin, how many of these projects are from investment pledges from his previous out-of-country trips? And baka may update na rin kayo, sir, sa follow-up dun sa mga investment pledges.
Well, the investment pledges are not, these are for the private sector, no? Yang, magtatayo sila ng factories, hindi kasama dito 'yon. These are infrastructure projects, no? Irrigation, health facilities, highways, railways. Unless some of them will probably be investing into this infrastructure through PPP, no? But that is we'll know that as when you roll up the PPP. ODA, yes, of course, to the extent that the pledges were by foreign governments, then those could be ODA.
Okay, thank you very much, Secretary Arsenio Balisacan of NEDA. Thank you for sharing the priority infrastructure flagship projects.
Thank you so much.